it happened kind of weird. I mean,
bombfirst.com.
he was in the studio at the time, and I believe he was working on some stuff with Aaliyah at the time, and Pac had called the studio. You know, I forget what studio he was in. I wish I could remember, but I want to say Cutting Room, something like that. It might have been that studio. But we was in the studio just working on a project, and he called us. And it was mind blowing at the time. It was like, how did this guy find us? You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows that? You know, how do you look for a guy? You looking for Smif and Wessun, or they in the studio in the cutting room? Okay, great. I don't know if it was a street connect or a label connect. Whatever one it was, he found us, tracked us down, and we spoke to him on the phone. We each took turns and got on the phone with him and spoke to him, and it was an exciting moment because it was like kind of surreal, you know. And he said he was working on a project and he wanted to get us on it. And he was sending tickets for us in a couple of days, and everything he said materialized pretty much.
bombfirst.com.
He gave us a basic synopsis of what he was trying to do, you know, and he didn't get into it to details, you know. He just basically gave us a light synopsis, and you know, he stressed the fact that, you know, he kept stressing the fact that he don't got no drama with New York. It ain't New York, you know. He kept saying it's not New York. He had no problems with New York. So we're like, no, we understand. You know, so it wasn't like we had took sides and things. Like, it was like, all right, since we live in Brooklyn, I guess we supposed to be on the East Coast side, or, you know, I mean, I don't think that's, you know, a position of any artist to take a side. You don't understand the whole details of circumstances of drama or whatever. But when he called, man, I think we was old. Me personally, my mind was blown. You know what I mean? I was excited. I was super geeked. You know, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like, Tupac, for real? You know, absolutely. I was a fan since Digital Underground. I was a fan of Digital Underground, so when they brought him out, I was like, okay, that's dope, because he was spitting the young fire, that young hot flame, that rebel fire. When he came out with songs like Trap, he was spitting that raw rebel flame. You know, and me as an artist and a writer and poet, I was attracted to that, you know. So it was cool. Like, I was an artist. I mean, I was a fan of a lot of guys. You know what I mean? You know, I grew up listening to music in the '90s. So in the '90s, late '80s, early '90s, there was, you know, I just wanted all the information. So whatever was hot, I took it all in. Nah, we going, man. That's what we said. We got our truth together. Like, we got the mind together. Like, once you got Buckshot, Tech, Steele, and you got Drew High, you got the minds, and you got the muscle behind the minds, you know. And then at the time, we was moving with Buckshot's brother, who was Buck's security. So we took him out there with us because, yeah, I mean, we didn't know what we was getting into. We didn't know what type of vibe it was going to be. You know, I never met Tupac before that time. I never hung out with, I don't know if it was going to be, you know, what you see on the videos. You know, we all have a certain sense of conditioning in our mind when we look at these videos and we hear people talk in the press and so on and so forth. So I don't think, you know, any of us had any clue what we was going to get into. But being from where we're from, you know, we take chances. We willing to take these chances. I don't think it was like a fear where it was like, wow, you know, what's gonna happen? How's it gonna, you know, like, man, we gotta do this, man. This is like history right here. This is crazy. Just making sure that everybody was with it, you know. So once we gave each other the nod, it's like, okay, let's go. You know, we didn't need to take no extras. We didn't take no extra luggage. We just went out there and just handled business. What we did do initially, like, we didn't expect to stay with him. We expected to stay in a hotel. But because he was working on several projects at the time, he didn't have time to do all the hotel stuff. So that it just worked out like that. He came to us and was like, yo, listen, man, I didn't have the time, I didn't have a chance to do this, work this out. So we was like, all right, cool. So he's like, yo, y'all mind just staying here for the night? Like, yeah, sure. Now we hang out. We ain't gonna do nothing but go to the hotel, watch a little TV. We really want to go to the studio. He's like, oh, what? Fuck. He was trying to be so hospitable. He didn't want to just say, yo, let's go right to the studio. We like, man, we want to go right to the studio. We ain't with all that cooling, just relaxing, getting airplane shit. Let's go. So he's like, okay, good. So we went right to the spot. And that was every night. Every night we could possibly be in there, we was in the studio, you know. There was very little partying. He had a couple of spots he had to go to, make some appearances and what have you. But it was a real inviting vibe, you know. You had to be open for it, you know.